So, first episode of Surviving Earth is finally aired. After all these years of teasing and hype, it's finally here, and it's fine. Like, 6 out of 10. It's definitely a bit underwhelming that the Impossible Pictures crew's much-anticipated return to the paleodoc genre is just another run-of-the-mill paleodoc. I'll just say this much, I'm glad this wasn't the only high-profile paleodoc of the year. However, hold for cat. You're right there? However, Surviving Earth does have one enormous problem. It's a pretty minor element, but I think it was a genuine mistake for them to include it, and it casts a pretty big shadow over the entire rest of the series. So, we're in the last scene of the episode. We've wrapped up the Permian extinction, and we're now looking at the new creatures that have emerged in the early Triassic, and oh, what's that?
New types of gliding reptiles called Protopterosaurs.
You made that up. No, seriously. They made that up. That is not a real animal. Protopterosaurs aren't a thing. The evolutionary origin of pterosaurs is actually a fairly notable gap in the fossil record. We know what they most likely evolved from, and we obviously know how they turned out, but we don't have any fossils of transitional forms of early pterosaurs. And, admittedly, depicting an early pterosaur as a small gliding animal is not an unreasonable bit of speculation. But at the end of the day, it's still speculation. Obviously, any paleo documentary that depicts the animals as they were in life is going to have some degree of speculation. These animals have been dead for millions of years. We can't definitively know everything about them. But this isn't like depicting a speculative behavior. That's fine, especially if it's a behavior based on something living animals do. Now, this goes way beyond that. This is presenting a wholly speculative species, a whole group of animals that, while they certainly could have existed, we currently have no evidence ever did exist, without disclosing or addressing the fact that this is all speculative. And it's not like they're a big part of the episode, they're on screen for under a minute, and the focus of the segment is squarely on Dongasuchus. Which just raises the secondary question of why even bother including them. What was the point of adding in a completely speculative animal as a background element? Because, yeah, they don't impact anything in the story, but they also utterly tank the credibility of the whole show. I don't feel like I'm exaggerating with that last part. These little guys are a bad omen for the remaining episodes. Because if they're willing to just casually throw in an animal that they essentially made up for no reason, then what else are they willing to make up? And that is a dangerous thought to be putting in your viewers' heads, especially in a show that pushes a strong environmental message. This is what I meant when I said that they cast a shadow over everything else. Presenting this degree of speculation, especially in the first episode, has rippling consequences that could negatively impact the parts of the show that are actually trying to say something important. It was irresponsible and a completely unforced error. If they wanted to show a pterosaur ancestor, they could have just shown a Lagurpitid. There's even one from the right time frame of the segment. They didn't need to make something up. I really hope this isn't a portent of things to come, but at this point, my trust is broken. I don't really know if I'm looking forward to the rest anymore. Well, at least we still have the dinosaurs.